Hello and thank you for joining us. This is a monthly discussion for our Central Region Team Engagement virtual team. The call is open to the entire region. For those of you that have not attended before, we welcome you. We'll be discussing offer updates, answer questions, and most importantly, take field data for our products. Things like competitive information, customer success stories, and/or suggestions for features and functionality. My name is Milos, I'm the area VTL, and Kim Leffler is our theater VTL. Got a couple topics today. My favorite, grip. Just a quick reminder, and I'm going to spend the rest of the time talking about Breeze demonstrations. So please let us know what your customers are asking for in conversations and RFPs or even during design work. Grip is the best forum for this, and products can only get better if we know what's happening in the field. So don't be shy. Now on to our main topic. So we've got a couple avenues for Breeze demonstrations today. And this is just another Breeze option for pre-sales. It's an external website for demonstrations, no VPN required, and it's available to employees, partners, and/or customers. You just go to the site and pick a workflow. And the site's reflected on the bottom left of that slide. So you're probably wondering why. You know, you've got Demo Avaya, and for those of you that have been in the Journey Advanced training sessions, you have Lab 111. This is a third option. It's quick and easy and no need to reserve. The idea is to be with the customer and, during conversation, bring up a workflow when appropriate. Instead of setting aside time for a formal demo, anyone with a network-connected device can go to the URL. You just pick one of the demos relevant to the business problem you're talking about and show Breeze on the fly. So next, I'm going to show you the how. I'll walk you through a few examples. So here's the first one. On the left side is a picture of the fields on the site. You put in a phone number and an SMS body, kind of the message within it, and click submit. Less than 30 seconds later, your SMS will arrive. So think of maybe an example would be a customer looking to automate a current process that has some kind of human delay today. Could be the last leg of a larger workflow to notify customers and/or employees of some kind of event. Imagine an order is in, an insurance claim is approved, or something else. The focal point is simplicity. This is driven by a GUI for creating workflows in the context of the customer's current operations. It's likely an analyst within the customer service team that may already maintain this workflow in some kind of document. Engagement Designer can make this a living document that can be modified by people that don't have background in SIP or networking technologies. Any questions before I move on to the next example? All right, so here's another demo that's on the site. This demo reconnects the customer to a call that prematurely ended. Add the customer and agent numbers. Agent gets a call automatically. After the agent answers, a call is made to the customer. And the example scenario is a customer accidentally drops a call. For example, they're on their cell phone going through a tunnel. The agent is presented with an option. An announcement is made to them. Please press 1 to reconnect the call. The agent pushes 1, the customer is automatically redialed and reconnected. So if you get a customer looking to automate a current process that has some kind of delay like this, the contact center agent talking to a customer on a cell phone and the customer loses a connection. Today, if that happens, in a lot of contact centers, the agent might move on to the next call in the queue, or it could be a manual dial back. So this automatic dial back can save time and reconnects to the same agent very quickly to avoid customer frustration. Also, this can consolidate reporting to reflect a single two-party call for better analytics. And this type of workflow can be embedded within a larger customer experience as well. For example, you can add it to a customer's current contact center elite implementation. Any questions?
So just real quick, Milos, the customer phone, is that the call-ed number? So that would be the number of the cell phone from which we're dialing?
That's the number that's going to be reflected on the website. On the left side of the slide, that's the customer phone. So in my example, that's my cell phone number. So if I answered my phone from my desk phone, which is the agent phone number, the part of the demo is going to call the customer phone number. If I were to hang up the cell phone, an announcement is going to be made to the agent, which is still on the phone, to give them an option to reconnect it. And then, as if that agent pushes 1, my cell phone is going to get dialed right away.
Okay. And what number do we dial, or is that somewhere in the documentation?
Good question. So that's actually a screenshot of the website. So you can actually go to the website now.
Okay.
And if you pick the icon with a phone that looks like it's ringing, it's called call continuity. You'll get presented with a couple fields that you'll fill out. The first one is the customer phone. Good question, Mike. I appreciate you jumping in. Does that make sense?
Thanks, Milos. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. It's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about call continuity? All right, I'll move on to another demo within the site. And for those of you on the call, feel free to go on the website and browse as we're talking through these. So DTE, probably the most widely recognized demonstration that we have. You add 3 contacts. The scope information is going to be sent via text and email. And the message is going to show up within the text and emails as an operational event. Just in parentheses, that's what shows up in the text. The reference to light here is that you can't change the message that's being sent out, and unfortunately, you can't add additional recipients. It's fixed at 3. So if you got a customer looking to automate, again, a current process that might have some kind of human delay, for example, the demonstrations we did in Engage. If you remember, we had Lego City there, and it reflected a train accident. An external event, which is the train flipping over, automatically triggered the workflow. Emails and texts were sent to representatives from the mayor's office, Amtrak leadership, and city emergency teams. And your customers may have processes that are manual and prone to delay, very similar to what this incident reflected. So expanding on the Lego City example, if any of the contacted parties don't show up within 5 minutes, they're automatically called. If they don't answer, the call is escalated to a text and an email to somebody they report to. And it keeps going up the chain until finally they get at least one person from each of those 3 groups on a call together. And another feature of the city was to add a drone that would pull a video feed into the same Scopia meeting that the team was already on. A lot of uses for dynamic team engagement could be within the contact center. It could be for the knowledge workers, field workers, a lot of different applications here. And just going back to the purpose for this is if you're with a customer and you need to use something to augment the conversation, you could pull this website up on the fly, pre-populate some of the information, show them how dynamic team engagement or dynamic team formation works. So here's another one, customer engagement. This workflow looks up a customer profile in a database, then sends an SMS with a direct purchase link. And as an option, it could also dial an agent. So just a note, we're using a pre-populated email on this site, but you can still change the phone numbers. We're in the process of moving the lab, so this is a temporary issue. So back to the workflow, the way it's intended is a call is made to a customer, an announcement's made, and that if the customer answers the phone, they're going to hear the announcement, something along the lines of, we see that you've recently been looking at a movie online. If you push 1, you'll get a link with a direct purchase URL. And the SMS has sent is an imdb.com URL, which is the movie rating site. So imagine being with a customer in the room talking through options. If the workflow uses a customer database, which results in personalized messages and announcements, I like to think of this in the context of a retail customer. One of mine, Wolverine, for example. Imagine being on the website, browsing through some Harley-Davidson boots, adding them to your cart, but not completing the purchase. The workflow trigger could be a timeout on the web page and or within the cart. That customer has a profile with you, so you know who they are. Imagine that 30 minutes go by and they haven't purchased the items. Wolverine's going to call them and give them an option to complete their purchase, either by SMS or conferencing in a sales agent. And I'm sure there's other applications for this as well. So here's another one. We've been talking a lot about chatbot, and although this one doesn't reflect artificial intelligence, this one doesn't have any machine learning built in. It's a good demo to show how we can make it work. The workflow initiates an SMS-based chatbot conversation with a mobile user, and it uses a Zang SMS trigger behind the scenes. It processes the dialogue via REST API, and we'll be looking for keywords or phrases such as help or problem, etc. In the middle of the screen, you'll see an SMS screenshot from a 613 number to my cell phone. So the chatbot says hello, I say hi. Chatbot says why hello there, I say help. Chatbot says I'll try to help, but can you tell me more about your issue? I say billing. Chatbot responds, I'll try to help with your billing question. I respond with a late fee. And chatbot says, how can I help? And it keeps going on like that until either a resolution is found or an agent is conferenced in, with context, of course. And so this is really a pre-canned automated Q&A. So we might have some contact centers that are looking for ways to reduce costs. This could be an alternative to having a long queue. Give the caller an option for a chatbot while they're waiting in line. Imagine your contact center elite customer looking for automation. This is an easy way to reduce wait times and costs associated with trunks and ports. And potentially, it could make the customers that prefer self-service much happier. So on to the next demo, reflecting local conditions based on the area code. So you pre-populate a phone number there, and Breeze is going to call with a local weather announcement. It's going to take your area code, it's going to map your location and give you an announcement. It's going to say something along the lines of location map to West Chicago, and at that particular time when I was testing the demo, it said it was 20 degrees Celsius and overcast. So imagine a customer wanting to reach out to their customers based on local events. Could be bad weather, an office is closed, or maybe a hurricane's coming. And anybody with a Florida area code, for example, gets calls saying that they should stay out of the area or maybe get out of the state altogether. From a retail perspective, anybody with a phone number or area code within 50 miles of a store might get a notice of a flash sale on electronics. So this is just an option for customer segmentation and notifying based on some conditions. It's a pretty easy demo. So here's another one. The workflow changes the IVR dynamically based on usage. For example, if option 3 in a menu of the IVR was chosen 90% of the time over the last hour, the app is going to reorganize the options on the fly. So now option 3, because it's being used so much, is going to turn into option 1 automatically. So engagement designer is set up with counters. Every time a menu is chosen, the IVR is resorted with the most popular one first. Pretty basic mechanics. So imagine your customer using IVRs for routing calls. 10 months out of the year, it probably works. When holiday season comes and the IVR traffic changes, let's say November and December, option 1 is, I need help with purchases, and option 2 is going to be, I need to return an item. When January rolls around, option 1 is going to automatically turn into return an item, all based on customer traffic. So the customer is going to be in the IVR for less time. They're going to be using fewer trunks and ports, and the transactions are going to happen a lot faster. So here's another one, service verification. This workflow sends a 6-digit code to user to automatically verify a service appointment. The workflow generates a random code through a RESTful web service, sends the code to the user by either email or SMS, then it verifies the code in order to confirm the service appointment. There's an announcement played. To confirm appointment, press 1 for email or 2 for SMS to get the code. Depending on your response, you'll get either a text or an email. And if the DTMF is correct, in response, you'll get an announcement saying, thank you, your service appointment has been confirmed. So imagine customers with high-cost in-person interactions. For example, a doctor's appointment. A no-show to a 15-minute appointment could cost that office $140. or maybe a home delivery of an appliance. A no-show, for example, a homeowner is not there when the appliance gets delivered, it could cost $300. So this workflow could be expanded to offer alternative dates and times to the appointment as well. Could dip into the database and offer new appointment times on the fly. So a customer says, no, I'm not available at that time, I want to reschedule. They can throw some options to them right on the same phone call that they're on. Any questions about service verification? All right. So here's a demo we call Do Not Call Consent. The workflow looks up a customer profile in a database, then checks if the number is mobile. If the number is not mobile, or if the customer has not provided mobile consent, the workflow calls, if the customer has provided mobile consent, then the workflow calls the customer. Then it updates the database and uses the customer database results to personalize the announcement. However, if the caller is mobile and the customer has not provided mobile consent, the database is updated and an email is sent instead. So do not call violations are probably $1,500 for the first time, and the numbers go up for repeats. And I recently read that a group in Florida was robocalling people and they got a $90 million fine. So if you got customers that are doing outbound calling, especially the ones that are doing it manually, talk to them about automating calls, outcalls, and also options for automatically updating and adhering to customer preferences for communications. If this comes up in conversation, feel free to jump on the website and show them a demo on the fly.
So Milos, it's Carla. So are you saying this is a hook into the dialer?
It could be the dialer, it could be call center elite, or it could be for a customer that doesn't have a contact center at all.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Sure, good question. I definitely don't want to narrow the focus here. The idea is when you're talking about a business problem with a customer, you can easily bring up this website from your phone, maybe your computer, maybe the customer's computer, fill in some of the information here, the phone number, the email, and also whether they are giving consent, and you can show the customer really quickly how easy this is to do. Any other questions on do not call consent? All right. So this is the last one I have to show you. This workflow locates a user based on the area code, then uses their state to check if a recording notification needs to be played. The demo calls the number and announces the state where the area code is from. This is important for workflows that require notification based on local requirements. For example, Wisconsin, where I'm from, requires that both parties on the call know that it's being recorded. Imagine one of your customers that takes inbound and or outbound calls. Do they need an announcement saying that the call is being recorded? Another use could be with a utility like ComEd, a local to Chicago here. The caller can be located based on the billing address. If the caller is in an area they already know has an outage, they don't need to wait until the caller gets to an agent to share that information with them. A workflow like this can let the caller know that they're working on the outage in their neighborhood and maybe even offer an ETA. This is an option to remove redundant interactions with live agents, and also the caller gets what they need much faster. So I want to share a big thank you for your time, and I also have a request. If you have some downtime, please take a look at the site, or better yet, if you're with a customer and you think, I might have a breeze option for this, please bring up the website, give it a try, and also let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts on improvements as well.